Welcome back to our epic Shenandoah Valley Campaign, and this is turn 2, What Happened? If you haven't already, do please like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any of the future releases, and also you'll be notified when we're going live each week so you can join in and actually get involved in the campaign. So what actually happened this turn? The Confederates gained the initiative, and we found out that it was going to be heavy rain, so I guess we had sort of like an early summer storm come in. The Confederate plan was to pursue with both Ewell and Jackson to try and catch the fleeing Union forces, and in the centre they sent a detachment up to Harrisonburg just so that it would be available to go wherever it's needed, whilst for the Union they withdrew troops up to Front Royal and to Strasbourg, whilst two of their other armies merged at the Brandywine. However, much to the chagrin of the Confederate commanders, in all of the battles that they attempted to fight this turn, the Union forces were able to evade them, which I guess comes down to a mixture of the bad weather. In Jackson's case, because he was severely wounded last game, that put a negative against his army's ability to organise the pursuit. So there were quite a few things that all came into play to mean that the Confederates just couldn't catch those Union armies. So for them, not a good turn. For the Union, a slightly better turn. They've managed to get back into defendable positions so they can start to rebuild their strength. So next up we've got the force reorganization, so we had to take logistics into account to see how everyone was doing. So Jackson's army in the centre with Ashby, their force is now more or less back up to full strength. There's a couple of units that are still a little bit undermanned, but overall they're sort of 95%, 98% fully cohesive and fully manned. So as an army, they're now ready to go again, and hopefully there'll be nothing that can stand in their way. General Ewell's force, again, they are fully manned. Last turn they gained a bit of experience from their battle, and so they've managed to sort of increase their man strength, their cohesion levels up to match those new levels, so that's good for them. So again, we've got two armies that are now pretty well full strength. Johnson's force, again, that hasn't been touched yet, so they're still full. So overall, the Confederates are in a good position. General Banks and General Shields, for the Union, we had to spend all of our supply points on putting the units into their forces because they got so badly mauled. And as you can see, there's still 3 infantry brigades which are pretty bad, pretty low still, sort of half strength, a quarter down, stuff like that. So still a bit of a struggle for them. The troops who were withdrawing up from the Battle of Luray last time, they are pretty well back to normal. So Union getting better, but they're not quite there yet overall. So that brings us to the Union turn 3 options. So first up, we've got attack on all fronts. As I said, most of their forces are more or less back to normal. Their centre units up at Strasbourg were a little bit wounded still, but overall we could launch an assault on all enemy positions. The second is for our troops in the north to hold, and that way they can try and reorganise and defend, whilst we attack with both of our southern forces, trying to cut the Confederates in two. Option 3 is for all forces to stay put apart from the one group who we send through that centre, try and split the Confederates, cut their supply lines, and then we can bleed them. Yeah, this one, pretty defensive. And then finally we've got 2 forces hold in the south and at Front Royal, whilst our other 2 form a sort of pincer movement where we try and catch and destroy Jackson in the middle. Yeah, the other guys, they're going to be kind of holding, trying to tie up Ewell and Johnson, preventing them from being able to support. So again, another option. Now for our Confederate options. Number 1 is for both northern commands to carry on as they are. So Jackson marches on Strasbourg, tries to destroy those Union forces, whilst Ewell again marches on Front Royal, knocks those units out, and then he can march on and take Manassas Gap, which cuts the supply line. Option 2, same as before, but we actually get Johnson into play in the south. send him forward, try and destroy that Union army that's blocking him, and he takes Franklin, and then he can start to wind up the Union left. Or west. Jackson goes on a westerly march to try and threaten Union forces in the west. Johnson swings round in the west, so we're going to try and draw the Union off, whilst Ewell continues up to Front Royal. That way he can take Front Royal and march on Manassas Gap, cutting those supplies. And then option 4 is for Johnson to attack in the south, Jackson to swing south, link up with their reinforcements from the detachment at Harrisonburg, and go after the Union troops at Brandywine, whilst again General Ewell carries on as before. Anyway, I'll be looking forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments down below, so do please comment. The polls will be released hopefully as soon as this video is, so you'll be able to go straight over there now and cast your votes. And I am really excited to see what happens in turn 3. So I'll see you there, guys. Thanks again.